Okay, so now I have my rough model. In my case, it's rough. Your case, it's hopefully not. Of my structure. Now, there's different ways of doing this, and I'm going to show you this one way, and then we can use that, and then maybe we'll get to the other way later. So right now I have all my layers visible. I can play with that in my navigation palette. But if I go up to my view menu, I can scroll down, and there's this wonderful little thing called a clip cube. I turn on the clip cube, and as doing so, I can see there's a red bounding box around my structure. If I go up into my view menu, I can see this is turned on. I can also just click it again, and that turns it off. Now, I have nothing selected in my object info palette, but if I had something selected and then I did the same thing, it's only going to create a clip cube around that selected object, okay? So I'm going to turn this off, and I can play with that as well. Again, I'm going to go view clip cube and turn that on. Okay, so there's a couple things we can do right now. As I hover over these edges, I can click on the clip cube, and see in doing so, it makes the edges solid black. And as I hover over the faces, they highlight in red. It also gives me this little highlights the axes and these little object handles. So I can actually rotate this clip cube if I wanted to. Right?
How sick is that?
Yeah. So if our building is angled, or there's a face that's angled, we can easily rotate that and then push this face in. Okay. Right? So with our sections, we usually want to include 2 sections. What I will ask is that you do 1 in detail, and the second 2 in detail if you have time, 1 in detail, and the second one doesn't have to be detailed. So we're going to do a cross section. So I can easily select my clip cube and push this face in, and I have a cross section. I can also, or I can do a longitudinal section and move this face in this way. And I can go through my stairs. So we want to make sure we're going through stairs, because then we can show that information. Now, I have this clip cube. Now I want to create a viewport with it. So I'm going to, as I hover over the face, it highlights in red, and I'm going to right click, and this brings a drop down menu where I can create a section viewport, and I want to do that. Oh. Okay, so I have a test sheet. I can either create a new sheet layer, I can use an existing one. I'm just going to leave all of this. That's fine. Advanced section properties is where we want to go, and we want to go under display. No. So under attributes, we want to use, I don't know how the default, so I know I've changed things, but make sure we're using separate cross sections and use the attributes of the original objects. And we want to show wall, slab, and roof components. Otherwise, it's all just going to be, as you can see, a blur of red. We can change that as well, but we want to be able to see those components within our objects. So advanced section properties, attributes, we turn those on, and we can even do black and white only for this. That's an option as well. We can also change that in our viewport or on our page. It won't let me select that because of my resolution. I'm just going to hit OK for now. And look at my lovely section,
So look at how amazing that is.
right? How awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so,
Detail, like we have to label it. Like
right.
Our floors and stuff.
Sorry?
Like our floors and stuff.
Yeah, and so I didn't get you guys to do the floor framer. I just asked you to do the 2D floor framing plan.
Oh yeah.
I
did
wrote
the
it in 3D.
Oh, you did a
Because
3D
you
one.
showed it me before the week that I left.
Oh,
You
okay.
were going over that.
Okay. Okay.
I did
So-
too.
So if you've done a 3D, it's going to show these components. If you haven't, you're going to need to draw them in 3D, right? Or sorry, draw them in 2D. So I'm just going to go in, double click, it would be an annotation, and I'd go here, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle, so it's 1.5 times 9.25. Wrong corner. I'll just place it there. So I can, even though I've done this as a 3D, I can easily modify things and add them. So then I can just go duplicate move and move this 16 inches, and I can show those joists, right? Does everybody understand that concept?
And then if they change direction.
Right? You won't see them. What you'll
draw a
see.
big rectangle.
Yes, exactly. What you will see and cut through is the sheathing in both directions, right? So now I can use my detail, my linear material, and use my plywood and do my thickness of 3/4 of an inch. Right, because you're so if you're cutting crossing through those joists, you're going to see the end cuts and the subfloor on top. And if you're not, you're just really going to see the boards, the edges of the boards where you're going to see them, and where you're not, we're gonna, in this top of the joist is the subfloor, edge of the subfloor anyways, right? Okay. So we're gonna add all the information that we need. Any information that's not in our model, we're gonna add it. We're using our 2D tools.